Okay, today we are playing a game on Volskaya Industries. We are playing Mercy on attack and Symmetra on defense, and this was a competitive game, but it was either during placements or the off-season because there's no rank attached to it right now, so whatever. But it is a competitive game. We are also on the PS4 today. Consider yourself forewarned if that bothers you at all, and our current team composition is Reinhardt, Diva, Winston, Reaper, Soldier, and Mercy. So we have an old-school 3-tank lineup, which is unusual for this day and age, but largely unremarkable. We have a Mercy, so that's the important thing, because it's terribly uncouth to be seen in public this day and age without a Mercy on your team, so that's the important thing. So, in the accompanying email, the Mercy section of this game is really short, by the way, so we're gonna kind of, front-load this a little bit. In the email, it says, I've played Mercy both old and new for a while, and I think I may be too divey and unnecessarily aggressive when I play her. I find myself to be really good with healing, but sometimes I end up flying too deep into the enemy team just to heal or to res an overextended/overwhelmed teammate. I would like some pointers on how I can provide better healing without sacrificing myself. In addition, I would like some pointers on how I can maximize my efficiency when in Valkyrie. I'm still getting used to her ultimate. So, this Mercy section is really short. By the time we finish the attacking round, we've got 6.5 minutes left on the clock. It's really one-sided. So we're going to talk about this right now. So, with the overextending thing, the important thing to remember when you're playing a support, but particularly Mercy, is you are the most important member of your team. Because if you're dead, your team is just going to die, because they're just going to get poked down, and there's not going to be anything they can do about it. They're just going to get chipped down and die. So, it's very important that you survive. So, this is going to be particularly important as well, because Mercy is about to have a cast time put on res when she isn't in Valkyrie. So, overextending to res people is going to be really bad in the near future. General rule of thumb, I would say if you have to go past your tank line to res somebody, it's probably too far to really go and try and res that person. That's not always true, but generally if you're going past your tank line, it's probably too far. Because you are the most important member of your team, do not put yourself in unnecessary risk to try and fix somebody else's mistake, because you're more important than them. If you're in Valkyrie, then you can usually, go past your tank line to do it, because you can get in really quickly and get out really quickly again, and the res won't have a cast time after the nerf in Valkyrie, so you can get away with it more in Valkyrie, but if you're not in Valkyrie, generally going past your tanks is too much. They shouldn't be overextending and dying in the enemy team. It's not your job to try and fix them, very badly positioning. Sometimes you can get away with it, but I would say that's a general rule of thumb. As for maximizing Valkyrie, it's kinda, there's not that much to it, because Okay, so, instead of going, that was gonna be, a huge thing, let's avoid that. So, one of the only real things I would say is, if you have 2 charges of res when you're in Valkyrie, try to use the second charge before Valkyrie ends. Because when Valkyrie ends, you just lose the second charge of res, so it goes to waste. And if, you wait for Valkyrie to be over and then you res somebody, it goes on cooldown, because you don't have the second charge. If you use the other charge before Valkyrie ends, you still have the cooldown up after Valkyrie ends, because you just use the extra charge. So that's one of the things. 'Cause I've seen Mercy players kind of wait to res somebody when they're in Valkyrie, and then they just end up resing them after Valkyrie ends. Don't do that, because then it's an inefficient use of cooldowns. So try to use the extra charge if possible. The other thing is try to use it as early in the fight as possible, because it's effectively a team-wide buff, right? You are buffing yourself, obviously, as Mercy, but your beam becomes AoE. So, you want to use it as early in the fight as possible, because that's when the most people are going to be alive, and the most people on your team can benefit from this AoE buff effect. Same principle as, Orissa's ultimate. You want to use it as fast as possible, because then the most people are going to benefit from it. People who've still got their ultimates by this point, nobody's dead, it's the same concept with Valkyrie. You want to use it as quickly as possible, so more people benefit. Positioning-wise, efficiency, you want to be as high up as possible, because generally the higher you are, the harder it is going to be for the enemy team to kill you. And Mercy's beam in Valkyrie is mad long. You can be miles away and still tethered to people. Caveat to that is, if the enemy team has Soldier or McCree, they want you to be high up in the air, because then if they use their ultimates to try and kill you, you have to spend longer getting out of the way, and they'll probably kill you before you can. So if the enemy team has a Soldier or a McCree, you do have to account for their ultimates when you're positioning. You basically need to know you can get somewhere quickly, so that you can duck out of the ultimates. GA does go insanely fast when you're in Valkyrie, so as long as you're like, okay, if they start using their ultimates, I can dash to this guy, or I can duck behind this wall that I'm near in the sky or whatever, fair enough. But try and be as high as possible, but account for Soldier and McCree if they have them on the enemy team. Those are like the biggest things with the efficiency on Valkyrie. There's not that much to it. It's a fairly, like, straightforward ultimate as far as they go. Very strong. Very strong ultimate. Try to use it as frequently as possible as well, because, like, healing ultimates charge up really quickly. It's kind of just 20 seconds of, like, I can't kill Mercy now, and killing her team has become really difficult. So, try to use it as frequently as possible is, like, another thing. That's kind of it, really. So, that's what we're going to talk about, because the Mercy section is really short, so a little bit front-loaded, but kind of... This is, like, the best time to talk about it, because most of this game is actually Symmetra. There isn't, like, some specific things being looked for on Symmetra. It's kind of just like, I'm not really sure how to play Symmetra, so fair enough. So we kind of just steamroll straight past them, because, like, someone got picked off. Now they've lost their Mercy, which is, of course, terrible, because now they've lost their healer. Oh, no. Roadhog is coming straight at us, and he is gonna come for us. Like, there's no way he goes for the Reinhardt over you, given the opportunity. Just, like, dash over to someone out of the way, because, like, you don't want this to happen. We get away with it, but just barely. Roadhog is gonna go for you. You want to just, like, get out of dodge at that point. He is still behind us. He isn't dead, by the way, so this is important because of what happens in the second, because, oh, fuck, he popped out behind us again. We know he's still back there, so we should be, like, keeping an eye to make sure that that doesn't happen to us, basically. And, like, by the way the fight was going by that point, we could have also, like, ducked in here out of the way, and he wouldn't be able to do that. He would have to, like, jump down on the point if he wants to hook us at that point. So, we know he's there, we were, like, winning the fight, we could go in here, or we can just be keeping an eye to try and dodge the hook, basically. But, even if we died, chances are we still win the fight anyway, because by that point the odds were so, like, in our favor that we probably don't lose even if we die. So, now we basically just straight up steamroll the second point, because we've almost got Valkyrie. We just use it right at the start, which is fair enough. We did just talk about wanting to use it as early as possible. And, like, they don't have any ultimates to fend us off with. We're coming in with Valkyrie and Tac Visor. Like, this is just a textbook snowball over a 2CP map, basically. There is, like, one thing. This is, like, probably, like, really obnoxiously far back by this point. Right around here, we look, like, straight up in the air to fly upwards, which... I don't know if you have to do that on the console. I would imagine not. Like, you don't want to be looking, like, straight up in the air, because if you need to... You can't see what the enemy team's doing. If you need to change targets or something, well, you have to look all the way back down again. It's not good. Like, yeah, like, we could just be, like, looking down at the ground as we're flying upwards, which is better. Because you can see the enemy team, and you can change your beam target if you need to. So, thing that happens here, we hear Junkrat start ulting, right around, like, here. Break the beam and start hiding, because you do not want Junkrat to know where you are. If I need to break the beam quickly, I always just use the melee attack. Because that breaks the beam even if you have the toggle turned on. You do not want him to know where you are with the tire. There are a few ultimates where, like, as soon as you hear him, you just hide out of the way. You just break the beam and start hiding. Tac Visor, the tire, Dragon Blade. You just want to get out of the way as quickly as possible. So, that's the entire Mercy section. Like, it was just a straight snowball. Now we're gonna be playing Symmetra for the rest of the game. So, the thing I noticed while watching earlier is that, like, we spend, like, a really long time setting up turrets. Like, we don't do it very quickly. We tend to, like, think about the position really deeply for some reason. So, things with turrets. Try not to, like, do this, where you bunch them up really tightly, because then it's easier to break them. if you're gonna do kind of like this sort of thing, like generally you want them to be as high up as possible because you want it to be an obnoxious line of sight for the enemy team, right? Because if Symmetra player just puts it like on the ground, then the enemy only has to go like, to break it, which is not a very hard line of sight. Whereas if it's like up behind them on the choke point, they have to go, to break it, which is much more obnoxious for them. And it takes them slightly longer to break it. Here, you don't want to put them close together, because then it's easier to break them up. If you do like that and then that, that's way more obnoxious, but it achieves the same thing. Because now, if they're both up like that, they just go, and they break them. If they're on opposite sides of the doorway, they gotta go, And it's very obnoxious to do that. And they get lasered a little bit more, it takes them longer to clear them all out, that kind of thing. It's also harder for, like, certain abilities to break them up. Like, if you just got, like, a nest built up, McCree, like, throws his flashbang in, breaks all of them. If they're, like, more split up, it's harder to do that. So, that's, like, you want it to be as obnoxious for the enemy team to break them as possible, which is generally high up and spread out. Other thing, right at the start of the round, Symmetra's ultimate builds up really quickly. And we will see an example of this because it, like, spikes up a few points during the start of this game. But, like, charges up really quickly. It's not unreasonable to expect to get Symmetra's ultimate within 30 seconds consistently at the start of the round. So, one of the ways we can help facilitate this is by putting a few turrets up towards the enemy team. So, like, doorways here. Just imagine you put, like, a turret there, and then, like, a turret there, and, like, maybe you put one, like, inside the doorway as well. And maybe you go and put a couple up, like, near the spawn or whatever as well. The idea is just that it's going to tase them as they're coming out. And then, if you do it, like, quickly right at the start of the round, you've got the cooldown ticking on your charges. So then, like, as those advanced turrets get broken, you can start, like, putting them back over in the positions you actually want them to be when you're defending. So, it just helps you get, like, your ultimate a little bit faster. Don't put them in, like, that kind of position, because they see this one miles ahead, and they can break it without ever coming into range of it. You don't want that. Like, that's no problem for them to break it, and it, like, will likely not tase them at all. So, like, that's not a very good position to put them in, because they have so much notice of it coming up. So, the enemy team is gonna come at us with a really weird team comp. They're gonna come at us with a Torbjorn and a Symmetra, so, you know, that's their decision if they want to do that. Let me just move myself a little bit. So, like, you see, we hit them with the orb, and it just, like, suddenly spikes up, and then we're at 50% already. If we got, like, some turrets out there, we're at, like, maybe, like, 70, you know, something like that. It just helps you get it a little bit quicker, and getting your ultimate quickly is very important. Getting it just, like, a second or two faster in this game might actually make a difference with what happens, because something quite sad happens. So, you see, it just hits so much, like, bam, 20% ult charge right there. So, we get our ultimate now. And, like, our team is doing some, like, not okay stuff, but, like, you can't control your team, so whatever. So, like, we're getting bullied right now because we got shot by Farah, and we're backing up to try and put our teleporter down. They, like, collapse on us they collapse on us. It's Lucio and, Soldier. So, it's unfortunate that actually, it was Farah, wasn't it? Whatever. It was Lucio and one other person. It's unfortunate timing, but, like, if we just get our ultimate, like, a second faster, that probably doesn't happen. Because we wouldn't have been in that exact position. So, the turrets might have made the difference, because we did stop at, like, 95% at one point, so. It's efficiency. Supports are and, like, Symmetry is more of, like, a defense hero than a support hero, but, like, support heroes, generally, it's about trying to be as efficient as possible. Symmetry is, like, getting your ultimate down as quickly as possible in a round. So. We, like, split these turrets up kinda awkwardly, I think, during this checkpoint as well, because, like, we just put, like, one on each side, and then, like, again, it takes us, like, a long time to get these turrets put down. Like, we think about it for a while. But, like, they're really spread out, and you want them to be in, like, the most likely position the enemy team is going to advance from, because then it's most likely to actually hit them. And it seems kind of like, well, obviously, but then, like, I see Symmetries, like, put, like, all their turrets off in, like, one, like, a flanker's route, where they're like, if someone comes through this doorway trying to flank, they're going to get fucked. Yeah, but they're also least likely to go through this doorway. We kind of want as many of them as possible in the route that the enemy team is going to take, because we want it to be we want to create... Symmetra is basically a defense hero, and, like, a support hero at the same time. It's kind of in between. Defense heroes are all about establishing a zone of control, and then making that as hostile of an environment as possible for the enemy team. So, we want as many turrets in, like, the main thoroughfare as possible, basically. So it's like, if they come through, like, the center, they're gonna, like, get hit by, like, one, maybe, like, you know, and then, like, if they came around that way, alright, but they're not as likely to go around that way as they are just come straight through the center. So, we put, like, maybe, like, one light there, and, like, one light there, and then, like, on the other side, and then we could put some back there, and then put, like, one back on the flanking route, because we do start putting our, shield generator behind us as well. If they're gonna try and get, this is like, I'm just gonna say this now, because this comes up a couple of times during this game. If you've got a shield generator behind you on this checkpoint, the most likely route they're gonna take to try and break it is they're gonna go up this staircase behind and then go through the doorway. So if you just put, like, 5 turrets out here, in where you think the enemy team is most likely to go through, and then one back by, like, this ramp going up, if you're looking at that, you can see when it gets broken, or when it starts tasing someone, and then you can start falling back to protect your shield generator. So that covers the flanking route, but you're still making the main point as hostile for the enemy team as possible, which we want to do. And it is also our job to protect whatever structure we build as Symmetra, so we do need to, like, kind of have advanced notice that they're coming, because it's kind of hard to keep an eye on this flank route, so just putting, like, a turret back there helps with that. So we get into a scuffle with Torbjorn, and unfortunately Soldier comes in right towards the end and helps him finish us off, so that sucks, unfortunate timing-wise, because I would have also gone, like, all in on killing that Torbjorn, but then, like, Soldier pops out at the same time as well and just kind of finishes us off. So, we put our shield gen back here, just like, the fight, like, they don't look like they're gonna win the fight from this position, so, like, we got time. You can just put, like, a turret, like, up here. Or, like, inside the doorway. Just, like, something so you have an advanced notice that someone is coming to try and break your shield gem. And then you can fall back to try and fix it. Kill the person. Because that's the most likely route they will take to try and break it. Because it's either that, or it's the left side. Not everyone can even get over the left side. So, the right side is more likely. So, we do not have all of our turrets down right now, and we have not even got our cooldown ticking, so this is efficiency again, where, like, we don't have a full suite of turrets out, we currently are capped out on turrets also, so we should try and cap this out as quickly as possible so we can have the cooldown ticking as quickly as possible. It's just slight efficiency, cooldown-wise, because, like, we got nothing else to be doing right now, we could have just been setting these up already. So I'm okay with, like, this one, because this is blocking the enemy's line of sight from it, so it's hard for them to actually break it ahead of time. This, they can just straight up see, because it's off to the side. They can just, like, see it from, like, over there, and break it before they even get to the point. So, that's not good, because they can break it without ever coming to it. This is fine, because they can't see it because of this being in the way. You don't want them to be able to just, like, break the turret for free before they come through, because then that turret just effectively did nothing. It's just, like, a waste of a cooldown, basically. So, also if, like, the enemy team, this is, like, kind of a judgment call based on, like, what you think the enemy team seems to be doing. If they seem to play around this health kit a lot, which is not unusual, you can put, like, some turrets in here as well, because then that makes this area just a little bit more hostile for them, you know, and if someone comes in here to try and pick it up, then they might get killed as they come through. That's kind of like, you have to make that judgment based off what the enemy team seems to be doing. So we're after this soldier. Unfortunately, he just runs away as we're coming after him, so, you know, that's what you do if Symmetra's coming at you and you're not confident you're gonna kill her before she kills you. You just leave, basically. So here's Roadhog. He did just use Take a Breather, so it's not impossible we kill him, especially since we have Shield Generator HP right now. It's kinda like, it's kinda skill-based, because, like, the idea would be to try and block his hook with your, shield, because the shield is very obnoxious like that. And then, if you're just jumping around him like a gibbon with your laser tagged on him, like, you'll kill him before he kills you. assuming you don't get hooked. So Soldier was in here doing this. We kind of like hesitate to come in the room. If he just broke the shield generator with Helix Rocket, there's like no way he kills you before you kill him if you just run straight at him. And like, we half killed him. If we get in there like a little bit sooner and lock onto him sooner, he maybe dies instead of getting away. He might still get away with like 1 HP, but we've got a better chance than like hesitating to go in. So they still have a Symmetra and a Torbjorn, so they're having like a lot of trouble getting in right now. Here comes Roadhog. He wants Mercy. He doesn't get it. We get to just farm ult off him. We had like no charge when this started. Look at that. We've almost got our ultimate again. We're at 75%. Symmetra's ult charge is so fast. Like a large part of Symmetra is building your ult as quickly as possible. So here, we get a little greedy after this guy. But we're like healthy enough. We probably get this guy if we just throw the shield at him and then run at him, because Symmetra's shield is, like, really obnoxious, actually. So then he has to make the call of, do I move into the Symmetra to try and kill her before she kills me, or do I just run away? If he runs into you through the shield, you probably kill him, because your shield is already charged up from, microwaving other people. And then he has to move into you, which is beneficial for you rather than Soldier. Or he just leaves, in which case you effectively still win the fight. So, Symmetra's shield is like, using it at like the correct time, is a big deal. Because it's really obnoxious. You just kind of like throw it at them and then you run at them, and then that makes it really hard for them, to actually kill you. This is not a good position for this turret. We do this a couple times actually as well, I think. Because they come around the corner, they see it, and they just break it before they ever even get in range of it. They do have to kind of be paying attention to see it, but like, you should assume the enemy team is going to play well until seen otherwise. So like, if they just come around this corner, they'll see it, they'll break it before they ever even get in range of it. Like, you want to put it on like this wall so they don't see it coming, basically. And you also want it like close to the corner, because if you're putting them over here, you're expecting them to come this way, so you want it to be, like, close to this corner so they have as little time to react to it, or, like, advanced warning of it coming, rather than putting it closer to, like, the point end. Because if you're putting it, like, closer to this end, you might as well just put it in, like, the main point coming through. This is not a good place to put it, because you can just see it way ahead of time and break it before even getting on the point, so that's not a good position again for it. So we now have our shield generator again. We kind of don't want to go oh god. We don't want to go, like, all the way back because a fight feels like it's about to break out, so we kind of just put it here. They end up losing people right as they come in. There's actually, Symmetra has put her teleporter on one of the rotating platforms. So they've got the double rotato potato happening right now, where they've got a Torbjorn turret on one right there, and then they got Symmetra's teleporter on another one. Oh, they are up to some shit over there, let me tell you. So, here is Torbjorn. He's on fire right now, and his turret is rotating. So, it looks scary. Like, I thought we were gonna lose this point when I was watching the replay, but D.Va manages to kill 3 people with self-destruct, so we get to hold on to the point. They also don't have a Mercy right now, so that's really sad for them. Yeah, like, D.Va just totally saves it, basically. Torbjorn's turret is still floating around, which is annoying. We have lost our shield generator again. We don't do a very good job of protecting our ultimate this game. Like, that one was in an unfortunate position, because we felt pressured, probably, to just, like, do it quickly, because the fight was probably about to break out, which it was. But, like, we end up losing, like, quite a few shield generators over this round. Plus a teleporter earlier as well. Which was also just, like, a largely unfortunate circumstance. So here's a Reaper. We're just gonna latch onto him, and he has to run away, because otherwise he's gonna die. We did see, like, Roadhog over there a second ago, and he kind of, like, gets blasted up, and then we kind of just, like, forget he's there for a while. We're probably, like, looking around to see if other people are there, but, like, Roadhog is pretty scary from that position. That's not a very good use of your shield, because basically what's it gonna do? Right? Like, unless you're gonna run straight at the Reaper as well, doing this doesn't do anything, because Reaper's not gonna do anything from that far away, and Reinhardt's got his shield up as well, so that's not a very good use of a pretty long cooldown. And if we had it right now, it would be quite impactful in this fight, because we could just throw it at Reaper and Roadhog, and we would not be at all concerned about dying. Or we could, like, throw at him immediately right there, and just, like, run at him and try to microwave him. right there, like, this is not, like, we're not gonna follow through on that one, because we have to go too far, and we have to want to come back here to put our shield generator up, so that's not a good use of it either. It's not like I think you're gonna get punished for that one, but you can get punished for it. Like, it's a long cooldown. So Lucio just, like, speeds by right there, which is kind of awkward. We're a little concerned about our shield generator getting broken at this point, so we put a couple turrets there. They aren't gonna protect it, because you can just, like, shoot them from outside of the cove. Again, the best thing you can do is just, like, put them up as, like, put, like, one up in the doorway as, like, a warning that somebody's coming through. And then just try and, like, rotate back to it as quickly as possible once you get the warning. Because, like, the two turrets in there are not going to protect it, basically. So, here's Reaper. Reaper's going to use his ultimate. Like, Reaper is gonna do that. There's no way Reaper is, like, Wraith-forming into the team like this if he's not going to use his ultimate. So if you're ready and you're anticipating that, you can just, like, throw your shield at him right away right there and try to block it and, like, maybe kill him quicker. Or just try and, like, stop him from killing your team. We, like, wait a while to use our shield during this fight. Kind of seems like we forget about it more than anything else. Symmetra's shield is, like, really strong. And throwing it at somebody in the middle of the fight is, like, very important. So, Torbjorn's on fire, but Firefighter May is on the case here to put out that Molten Core, and he is fucked now. Lucio has beaten our shield generator, which is unfortunate, but they're also about to lose the game, so not the end of the world. Their Lucio, I would say, did not play spectacularly during this game. But also their only healer was Lucio, which is sad for them for different reasons. They didn't have a Mercy. What a sad game for them it was. Now we're just, like, throwing as many turrets down as possible because, like, we're about to win the game. So, like, make it hard for them to walk in, basically. Fair enough. We do get hit by Reaper and then just kind of, like, ignore it or don't notice it. Reaper's pretty important to try and take care of at that point. This is easily the play of the game. Like, because if she doesn't do this and kill 3 people, we, like, definitely... If we don't just lose the round, they get, like, 2 ticks out of it, at least. So, like, that's definitely the play of the game. So... Not much stood out, like, Mercy's side, because it was so very short, so hopefully I just answered your questions from the email adequately. If you felt I didn't answer those questions adequately, please let me know, and I'll try to expand further. Symmetra-wise, it's basically just, like, a lot of inefficiencies that we, like, talked about as they came up repeatedly, so I'm not gonna belabor the point here. There's no other, like, huge things that stood out to me, though. It's basically just, like, general efficiency things with Symmetra, basically. And we didn't really see very much about the Mercy side, really. The big one from there is just, like, break your tether if a scary ultimate is coming. So, yo, what are you doing, cat? You're hanging off the back of the chair. What are you doing? What are you doing? You see this clown? What are you doing? Never mind. He's gone now. Alright. Shy for the camera. So anyway, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer, and I hope you found the video helpful.